At an extraordinary moment for the entire investment world, with coronavirus causing global financial shock, the PLSA Investment Conference 2020 aimed to provide pensions professionals with the expert insights, inspiration and information so crucial in such unprecedented times. And whilst the global pandemic dominated many conversations, the Pensions Minister Guy Opperman urged the audience in Edinburgh to also focus on the future.
It seems to me that if you are in the pensions and savings business, you start with a fundamental principle that you believe savings should be done for the longer term. If you aren't addressing climate change, there is no longer term. It is the defining issue of the 21st century.
A view supported by those examining and defining the fiduciary duties of schemes and formulating best practice policy.
Trustees have to remain focused on the long-term strategic objectives, and a lot of this stuff, it could be noise. The trick is to work out what's noise and what's long-term. But we've got to focus on the long-term.
And focusing on the long term, you're very keen to look at climate at the moment and how crucial that's going to be.
Yeah, climate risk is a long-term financial risk to every part of the economy, every single business model, and in its extremes, every single company.
A long-term risk that requires a measured approach.
Alison, what qualities do the very best risk managers have?
Well, I said they're very good at defining risk. They're very clear on what the risks they face are. They always have very good strategies to reduce risk, and they're very thoughtful about them. They don't pay too much for them. And then from there, they're also very aware that they can't anticipate every risk that comes their way, so they always manage to maintain a little bit of flexibility and resilience.
Recognise what stress does to your brain and focus as much as you can on the things that you can control, things that you might know for sure and things that you can do for sure, and that will enable you to face into the uncertainty more easily. Second, recognise that you have blind spots. We all do. We all have something called selective attention, and that means we've always got to ask ourselves, what are we missing? What would someone else with a different perspective see that I'm not seeing? And third, cognitive load. This is really tiring, worrying about all of this stuff, and the more that we can think more clearly and the more that we can think more simply, then the better we'll be in coming up with the right answers, and that means going offline as much as we can. That means not trying to multitask your way through all of this drama.
And with such a challenging landscape, investors do need to ensure the very best decision making, something many believe can only be achieved with diverse teams.
Don't just give someone a seat at the table, give them the power to be heard and for their view to matter. Long gone are the days when we thought we just needed to be diverse to feel better about ourselves. It's now a commercially proven fact that boards that are more diverse make better decisions, make more accurate decisions, make quicker decisions, assess risks better, are more innovative in the way in which they approach decision making, and therefore, if for nothing else but in your own self-interest, become more diverse boards because you will make better decisions and perform better.
The Pensions Minister also highlighted the part data will play in improving member outcomes and emphasised his expectations of those investing for people's futures.
I'm producing the pension schemes bill, of which dashboard is key. If there's anybody watching this who hasn't got their data in order, they need to do so. The penalties for not doing so will be draconian, and they need to invest in that and make sure that happens.
But with data integral to much needed tech innovation in the pensions space, institutions need to be even more cyber secure.
Criminals are often the first adopters of any new change, so they'll spot an opportunity, they'll see an amazing new tech, they'll see it's unregulated, and they'll very quickly find ways of exploiting that and trying to usually rip off ordinary people. And any industry that increasingly becomes data reliant or is interested in using data, holds large amounts of people's personal information, is going to be vulnerable to that. So this sector, as well as every other, has to be really aware of how criminals are working and how they can best try to stop them ripping people off.
Best-selling authors and economists, broadcasters and CIOs sharing the stage to encourage collaboration and innovation in an industry responsible for the lifetime savings of millions.